This just in, we got major updates on Jacoby Brissett today that we're going to look at on Cardinals Today, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and I welcome you all into this show. If you are a diehard Cardinals fan, this is the place for you. We are almost at 2.8 thousand subscribers, only 18 subs away. Help us out. Hit that sub button. The real race is we're trying to be one of the first channels to hit 3,000 subscribers here at Chat Sports. Help us out with that goal, but only 18 subs away from our next one. If you want Cardinals news, rumors, and content immediately, hit that sub button, and I got you covered. So the first update we're going to look at is from Josh Weinfuss of ESPN, and he says, this is news. The Cardinals and quarterback Jacoby Brissett are significantly far apart in negotiations to rework the last year of his contract for 2026, a source told ESPN. The gap in the negotiations puts into question whether Brissett, who has yet to report to Arizona's voluntary offseason program, will attend next week's voluntary OTAs, the source said. A lot of question marks here. The story just keeps developing, and apparently the important part there is, quote, they are far apart in negotiations. Brissett is holding out and wants a raise. That we know to be true, okay? What else do we know? The Cardinals don't want to pay him, give him that raise, otherwise it would have been a done deal already. And it's probably because he's not a part of their future, not a part of their future plans. He might not even be in their next 17 games as a future. They just might want Brissett for a little bit this year to then see what Carson Beck has for them before 2027. I don't know, but clearly he's not part of their long-term plans, and that's why there is no immediate rush to give him the pay raise. However, Arizona will hold mandatory minicamp for vets and rookies June 8th to 10th. That'll be key to see if Brissett is still holding out by that point, because that is mandatory minicamp, ladies and gentlemen. And Josh Weinfuss also told us that Mike LaFleur said the discussions on Brissett's deal were same as where we were a few weeks ago. LaFleur also said that he's been in contact with Brissett, but declined to go into further detail about their conversations. A source told ESPN earlier this offseason, Brissett has been informed by the Cardinals he is their starting quarterback. I find that last part of the quote very interesting. Arizona won't pay him, but they want to start him. Hey, you're our starter, but you're not getting a raise. Sounds kind of like a lot of jobs, right? I mean, corporate, they're telling you, hey, man, great work. Not getting the raise, though. And so I understand both sides of the argument. This is mostly a play from Brissett and his agent, I would imagine, of if you're telling me I'm your starter, pay me like a starting quarterback. But Jacoby, you got to get real. I mean, you're not the starting quarterback of this team for past this year, and that's probably at most is this year. Like I said, I don't envision Brissett playing all 17 games for the Cardinals this year. Do you? And so what is the point of even paying Brissett this year? Why even deal with this drama? He was 1-11 last year as a starter. Can you really justify a pay raise? A pay raise after you start 12 games and win one for this football team? Like, why are we even dealing with this? You might as well just play back if Jacoby's going to cause these issues. Because this team is likely going to have one of the top picks in the draft next year. Why do you need to make Brissett QB1? Just see what you got in Beck at that point if Brissett won't play for what he's being paid right now. And that way, see if he gives you anything. See if he's any good. Again, I hate to say it. A lot of Cardinals fans mad at me for saying it, but you'll all see eventually. I don't think Carson Beck is going to be that good, especially if you just threw him out here right now. And he'll either be so bad that you get the number one pick still, and that's a win, or he'll be good. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, win-win here, in a sense, for the Cardinals by starting Beck and not Jacoby. So let me know in the comments section, who do you think should start? If you think Brissett should be QB1, type JB, type his initials. If you think it's time to go to Carson Beck and forget about Jacoby, type CB. Let me know in the comments section based on the initials. Coming up, what could happen to Brissett then if this holdout continues? I'm going to tell you exactly what on the back half of the show. But let's shout out Prize Picks, our good friends and the place to go if you love daily fantasy sports. Player picks are on fire right now as playoff basketball gets going, and there's no better place to cash in while watching sports than with Prize Picks. With the social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. That includes my lineups. That includes producer Ethan's lineups, your friends, celebrities, tail picks, fade picks in the social feeds feature, and you can get our picks before I post them on the show. I got a 3-pick power play for you guys for tonight's action. SGA, more than 5.5 assists. Stephon Castle's been my favorite pick. More than 11.5 points for Castle. I mean, it's been working great for me. And Victor Wembanyama, more than 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It's a $20 lineup. The payout's $46. I feel pretty good about it, and you guys can make the same one, but you got to download the Prize Picks app to do that. It's super easy to use. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats and lock in your lineup. And new user offer, if you download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA, you get $50 on lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Link is in the comment section and description of today's video, and that is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, what happens to Jacoby? What's the options going forward? We got 4 of them. Let's dive in. Number 1, trade the man. Trade Jacoby Brissett. There started to be rumblings of this, an inkling that Arizona might have to be open to this idea a couple months ago, back in March. This rumor had come out from CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones. The Cardinals could be willing to part with Jacoby Brissett if the team can get a decent day 3 pick in return. Seems like a deal that did not get done at the time. This was before the 2026 NFL draft, but perhaps that still stands for the 2027 draft, a day 3 pick for Brissett. What would the value be, though? Why would a team trade for Jacoby Brissett, especially amongst this nonsense? Well, I'll say this about Jacoby. Maybe the best backup quarterback in the NFL. I mean, especially if you're a good team. It's not bad to have Brissett be your 2, should anything go wrong. Think about Joe Flacco last year, right? This could be a Joe Flacco situation. Player like Joe Burrow gets hurt. The Bengals ended up trading for Joe Flacco. Actually gave up a 5th-round pick to get him, and they needed someone who could start games while they waited for Burrow to come back. If there's a scenario like that, I don't know, a Lamar Jackson gets hurt, a Drake May gets hurt, and Jacoby wants to reunite with the New England Patriots, that's a scenario I think a team would buy Jacoby from you. So keep that in mind as the trade deadline approaches later in the season. It's early. We're a ways away from that, but this is all starting now because Brissett's doing the whole holdout thing. And from a Cardinals perspective, you'd add another 2027 draft pick. Why not stack picks in that draft that's going to be absolutely stacked? Everybody's buzzing about it. Every analyst saying it's going to be fantastic. Not just the draft class as a whole, but the quarterback class specifically. And that's literally the Cardinals' biggest need right now. Finding the right guy under center. So, wouldn't be a bad idea if you get a good pick in return for Jacoby. Let me know in the comment section, if you're the Cardinals, would you trade Jacoby Brissett? Type D for trade. Type D for don't. Get a letter in the comment section. Do you just cut Jacoby? Do you just say, all right, that's it. You're off the team then. We're not paying you. You're not going to participate and show up, and you're just going to hold out. Goodbye. We'll cut you. Did you know the Cardinals do that? They actually saved nearly $6 million in cap space by cutting Jacoby Brissett. You're not taking a loss. In fact, you're gaining cap space. And this isn't ideal. You don't want this to have the result. Your quarterback 1 again gets cut. That is such a Cardinals thing. Kyler Murray's your QB1. You have to cut him. Your next QB1 you have to cut as well. Really, this isn't the direction you want to go in. But the question is, if you can't find a trade partner, is it even worth all the drama to keep Jacoby Brissett here on the sidelines making a scene when you've got a young guy in Carson Beck who, honestly, the fans would probably rather see? You also signed Gardner Minshew, who I'd take Brissett over Minshew, but, is it that huge of a gap? Is that big a difference? I mean, it's basically Walmart Jacoby in a sense. And they're different play styles, but both are average and good backups. They don't need Jacoby that badly. And so do you just cut him, save the money, and free up a roster spot? Again, it's not ideal. It's just getting ridiculous that this is where we stand right now in the offseason for the Arizona Cardinals at the quarterback position. Couple more for you. There's the argument you could just pay Jacoby. It's probably not going to be a massive raise. It's definitely going to be more than it's worth to keep him. You just say, all right, we want you to be quarterback one. You'll get paid as it. Problem is, he wants to be paid as like a starter for years. Okay, like we're talking extension. And that's just not Arizona's timeline. That's just not their plan. It doesn't make sense for them to allocate guaranteed money to Jacoby Brissett. Okay, that's what happened with Kyler. There's way too much guaranteed money in his contract. Obviously, those deals will be substantially different, but point is, they had to move on from Kyler because they didn't want to keep letting him get guarantees that were coming for years to come when he wasn't in their future plans. Now, there's folks out there that think Brissett could be better this year because, yes, the O-line was terrible for Arizona last year. It's hard for a quarterback to look good in this system last year. And so maybe there's the argument the Cardinals could be a surprise team with Brissett under center. Should the O-line look better? And Jeremiah Love's back there to help out too. Like, yeah, you can make that argument, but you could make that argument for any of the three quarterbacks at that point. You can make that argument for Aaron Rodgers, who didn't end up coming to Arizona. And finally, the next quarterback you draft in 2027, it will be even better for them, who actually could be your future. Jacoby is not that. But are you one of those people that thinks Brissett could take the Cardinals to the promised land this year? Let me know in the comment section. What's your take? Should the Cardinals pay Brissett? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know by typing a letter in the comment section. All right, finally, let him sit. I mean, you just really can't do this. This is why it's the fourth option on the list, is to just let him sit out and take up a roster spot and do nothing on the sidelines. Now, if that happens, we probably go back to option number one, and we're just waiting for a team to trade for him before the trade deadline, right? But again, that's why I have these as the top three options, especially that top two, if Jacoby's not going to come to a contract negotiation, because guess what? The report is they're far, far away. So those are your options. Once again, get in the comment section and let me know which one you think is best. That's going to do it for today's Cardinals Today episode. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I've been your host, Joey O'Donohue, and I got more Cardinals updates coming for you tomorrow. Don't miss that. Some new stuff broke on Josh Sweat. So we'll talk about it all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.